So next, let's talk about some construction tips, some things that you can use to help make cardboard furniture that's actually structurally strong, that will actually hold the weight that is intended for it, whether it's the weight of a person, in the case of a cardboard chair, or just a tabletop that you want to put a plant or a book or a lamp or something like that on. There's some tips and tricks that you can use to help make your cardboard furniture more structurally sound. One of the first techniques, and one of the most common ones that we use in class, is the slotted grid. Think about a shipping container that is used to ship something like bottles. Okay, normally down inside the box, it will have this grid format that would hold each individual bottle, keep them from banging against each other, and also kind of keep them stationary within the box. So how is something like this constructed? Well, I'll take this one apart for you so you can see. And it just involves taking pieces of cardboard and cutting notches into them. So here I've got 4 individual pieces of cardboard, and I've cut notches into them. I actually did this with my paper cutter. You could do it with a pair of scissors, with your canary cutter, whatever works best for cutting the notches into the cardboard. But I've cut notches evenly spaced across these pieces of cardboard, the 4 of them. Some are cut along the top edge, others are cut along the bottom edge of the cardboard. Now I just match up the slots in my cardboard and slide them together, okay, so that they interlock with each other. So I've got 2 that go down and 2 that come up. Lining my notches up carefully. So that will give me a grid that if I put that down inside the interior of a cardboard box, of course I want to make sure the dimensions of my pieces match the dimensions of the interior of my box. So the horizontal ones need to be the length of the width of the box, the vertical ones need to be the length of the sides of the box, okay, if that makes sense. But if I put this inside that cardboard box and then add more layers of cardboard on top of it, so close the box onto that and then build up a few more layers, you will have a cardboard box that will support a person's weight, even someone like me. Okay? It works amazingly well. Of course, the closer your spacing between your notches, the more strength you're going to have. So you wouldn't want to have big, huge gaps in between your notches. You want to have them relatively close. Just depends on the size of the box that you're working with. But something like this down inside of a box will make a structure that's safe to sit on. And then students can add more cardboard for a back, they can add cardboard arms on the side, all different kind of things that they can do to turn that into a basic cardboard chair. We've done, I can't tell you how many of those in the past. It's simple, it's fast, the kids get it, they understand how to put something like this together, and it doesn't take them that long to construct the structure of the chair, and they're ready to start paper macheing right away. So it's a really, really good technique. Another thing that we have to consider are corner supports. So here we're talking about mostly things like tables. We're building a small table or a set of shelves or something like that. So if I've got a leg to a table, okay, I'm going to use this as an example, and I want to connect it to my tabletop like this. Okay, so what's going to keep that leg from moving around and wobbling? Well, one of the best things to do to secure that is a corner support. So basically all I'm doing is I'm taking squares of cardboard, cutting them in half diagonally so I have a right triangle. And this one happens to have 2 layers of cardboard glued together. The more layers you glue together, the stronger the support will be. But if I take this triangle, I'm going to put my table upside down. I've got my table leg. And then I attach this triangle both to the leg and to the top of the cardboard top, the tabletop. And I do that on both sides of my legs, on all 4 of them. That will help keep that leg from moving around. It's going to stabilize it and it's going to make it a lot stronger. It's just a basic corner support. I can also use corner supports. Okay, here's an example of 2 corner supports that have been attached to a flat piece of cardboard. Of course, I'd want to do that on this side as well. But that would give me a perfectly structural shelf that I could then drill holes in, put a nail on the wall, hang this on the wall. Of course, I'd want this top layer to be a little bit thicker. I'd probably do multiple layers of cardboard. But you can make really simple, basic wall shelves that will hold a variety of materials, anything from books to DVDs to, you know, small sculptures or whatever. What a great way to display some artwork, just tacking something like this to the wall and setting student sculptures on top of it. Super, super simple, and it all comes down to these corner supports that help hold things rigid. Now, another thing that I like to use is triangular tubing. Okay, so it's kind of like the round cardboard tube that I got from the laminator, but this is something I build myself. And rather than curling it into a circle, I'm making a triangle out of it. Triangle is one of the strongest shapes that you can have for construction. And so by folding this cardboard into a triangle, I make a surprisingly rigid and strong piece. And the way I would put something like that together, I would take a length of cardboard, you know, whatever length it is that you want your finished tube to be. And then I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to score this cardboard so that I have 4 even sections. So I've already got one scored. So I'll go ahead and score the other 2. I'm just using a closed pair of scissors. You could use a ballpoint pen. You could use, I guess you could even use your canary cutter. Whatever you have that'll scratch into the surface of the cardboard. So I'm just going to scratch and score that. So that my cardboard will be able to fold easily along those score lines. Okay, scoring makes it very easy for me to fold the cardboard. Fold this last piece. Okay, so now I have a piece of cardboard that has 4 sections. So I'm going to take the first and last section of my scored cardboard and I'm just going to overlap them, which will create a triangle. I'm going to take my good old Elmer's glue all, great stuff, and a little bit of masking tape. Let me grab my tape dispenser. So where my cardboard overlaps, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of white glue. The tape would hold it together, but the glue is just going to make it a little bit more structurally strong, so I don't have to worry about that tape letting go. So I'm just adding some dots of white glue right along this cardboard edge. I'm going to fold that in and overlap. And then I'm going to secure that in place with some masking tape. I'm going to pull that tape good and tight across that exposed edge. One more piece ought to do the trick. Okay, so once that glue has set up and dried, that's going to make a surprisingly strong structural piece that I could use for, no reason you couldn't use these for table legs. I don't know about chair legs. They might not be quite strong enough for the legs of a chair unless you put a whole lot of supports in between them. But table legs, these would work just fine, or cross supports between table legs, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment. These would work out great for something like that. They're very strong and they hold up very well. Okay, so cross supports were the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So if I have the legs of a table, get my piece of cardboard again here, my little miniature table example. So I've got my table legs, right, underneath my table. again, we have the problem of what's called splaying. When I apply pressure or weight to the top of this table, I want to make sure that my legs don't move around. Okay, we already talked about the corner supports attached to the tabletop and the legs, which really help with that. But on a taller table or a larger table, sometimes that's just not quite enough. Okay, and that's where you need cross supports. So if I had real tall table legs, about halfway down the legs, I would want to add some kind of a cross support to keep those legs from either going in on themselves or splaying out. And so again, you could make more triangular tubes to make a cross support. The good old rolled magazine would work great for a cross support, but I would just want to make sure that I made some kind of a cross support between my table legs. Of course, you're going to adjust that to the length that your table legs are apart from each other and tape that together. Okay, so there's your support. Your tabletop goes on top like that. And that's going to help keep those legs from splaying and from moving around. It's going to make your structure a lot stronger.